Today we got a crazy video. Today we're going to be joined by Gabagool, who during this MCS season finished as high as making the live event for the Thanksgiving tournament, and he's made tens of thousands of dollars playing competitive Madden. And in today's video we're going to have two parts. The first part is going to be him going over his lineup, explaining his abilities the way it is, and the second part is him going over some of his favorite plays in the game and why certain things work the way they do in Madden and some things to look for. Throughout this video there is like so many like small things that add up into big things, and it's why these people make tens of thousands of dollars playing the game. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you learned something today. Please talk about your abilities, man. What are you trying to do on defense? Why are your abilities the way they are?
So first off, I am doing something a little different right now. I'll be able to switch between the two. But right now I got two lineups in MUT. I got one for zone, I got one for man, right? Like I'll run zone, like bunch tight end, Lions playbook, like stuff like that. It's a matchup thing. Madden's definitely matchup oriented. I'll probably just go into like MUT head-to-head running spinner. So, but like right now I got mid and deep out zone on my safeties. I got just all the flat zone, like all the mid zones, all the flat zones on my outside corners, deep route KOs for my linebackers. I still use that MCS Woolen. Like you could probably get a better guy. I'm kind of cheap right now. And then I also have a deep route KO on my slot. It's just, the reason why I do this is because I'll be able to man people up if I have to. My boundary corners, I just call them boundary corners. They'll kind of just be in zones most of the time anyways. This is the man lineup. Now the abilities aren't like fully...
Oh, you said rock Marcus Peters.
I mean, again, you could use Pat Pete. They're pretty much the same. Like I just keep forgetting to buy cards. But I just use deep route KO one step on everyone. And I don't really use underneath KOs. Like I'll just start putting my slot corners in like cloud flats. Like I'll put my DNs in like verts. That's just the way that you kind of have to play this game. The other lineup I showed is mainly for wide. You can run dollar with it too. This is mainly for dollar spinner. Side shade, deep route KOs. Revis doesn't have the abilities on it. Have to switch them.
You just got Madden 23, right? Like say it's like the beta time. What's like the first thing you're doing?
Because I always go into Madden's offensive first, because you can learn a lot about Madden just by trying to figure out like, okay, how do I pull outside zones, and like if this doesn't work, like okay, that's defense, right? Like you can kind of kill two birds with a stone right there. But normally for me, I just kind of look like, all right, what are like good offenses in Madden usually, right? To me, like the top offenses is always like bunch. I think tight slots is kind of like slid into like a top 2 to 3 offense every year at this point. It got added in like Madden 20, and every year like it's been runnable. Trips usually good. The past 2 years kind of I think that's more of a player movement thing. Rotate through like meta formations, try to see like how things play. Like this year, like spread sets in general kind of struggled because of like the way they run routes against man. It's really weird. So you go into Madden 23, like the game comes out. Now the loop blitz is a thing, and everyone's running man coverage, right?
Yep.
And you need to get the ball out fast. You kind of know a little bit about the game. So you're like, okay, like right now the meta is like shallow corner route. After the first tournament, I was like, is U-Trips like really going to be the meta this year? Because it was really good. Like you could block the tight end. Like that is like another thing. Being able to block like meta blitzes. Like I'm going to say like right now, like the offense I run, like tight slots does struggle against picking up dollar, but it is really good against like 5 outing and stuff like that. Bunch does have like, it has a run plus a play that picks up dollar. And then obviously like the best offenses past year with Saints. Shot seams, it's a good play for many reasons, but like the play action, the fact that it's play action is like definitely like a top reason.
So you're looking for like obviously a pass way to beat the meta, and also, you know, a run play.
You want routes, and you want to be able to pick up the blitzes. So like the top 2 things, because if you can't pick up a blitz, how are you going to run the offense?
Now we're transitioning to part number 2. In this part, we're going to be going over his favorite plays. Make sure to listen to what he's saying. A lot of this stuff can transfer over to your favorite formations, and some of these route combos again can transfer over to what you guys run if you're not running the tight slots halfback weak.
And this is why I think bunch is kind of bad, because if you want to like pull for a corner route without motioning a guy out on like a streak, right? Because like you have to have a clear out route for streaks or for corner routes to get open. But now it's like let's just say you come out, you're in bunch, you just audible the tight slots right away, right? So that's been like a big thing this year. Like people will just audible the tight, right? Now when you're on this side, you can just streak 80 and then corner out, right? And that's going to pull pretty much any zone in the game.
You said route tech short out over short in, short out?
Yeah, because like here, audible to tight slots real quick. This is when honestly like defense got even worse for this game for me. Having short in over route tech makes it so like this deep post won't cook man coverage at all. Where if they man it up and they don't have like inside shade or like that type of ability, that post route will just super cook for a touchdown every time. Now, I think like the best play that you can run here, like you come out and post wheel drag, right? Corner route B, trail route to tight end. I'll put Y on like a flat or like an out route, or I guess it would be an in route because of what you're about to do, and then wheel route the running back, right? You're gonna motion Y over because when you have it on this side, you can just motion the slot always to the right. And now you're gonna see when you motion that receiver or that DB like moves inside of 81. So pretty much what that's gonna do is, and you can do this out of like a lot of like bunch tight end, you can do it out of bunch, you can do it out of. But you're gonna see when you snap this ball, most of the time, and especially when you motion snap it, right? You can just throw the B button on like the corner route just on the cut, and then you just snap it, right? See, and like I'll like
good catch.
There you go. Good catch. When you do this motion, that like backside post, it doesn't like run as well. Like you can't really throw it on the cut. So that's kind of just like a decoy route, kind of forces them to user it. If they neglect like the running back, like you can just throw the running back if they like send 6. Or if their user's worried on the post, you can throw the trail out. And the good thing with spinner is they have to do like a decent amount of adjustments and stuff. So you can quick snap a lot of plays, especially when you go from like one to another. But this one, like it does look like a little weird. But you just angle route the running back, flat route B, and then put A, like the tight end, on a corner route. Now I'm gonna say right now, who's your tight end's wrong, right?
Yeah.
All right, so this is some real free game. So like tight ends that don't like air trucks, so like I think like 245 pounds or lower, they run like angle routes and corner routes different. And if you have like a fat guy doing it, like they run the corner routes kind of bad, especially against inside shades and stuff. Like if their user just bites low for a second, you just eyeball that post route, just like ag back. And like sometimes like it does have a chance of just like slipping past the DB. That's what I call it, because they just like completely run past. But like right here, you'll have the opportunity like to throw the tight end corner or the angle. And if they don't have like inside shades in particular, like that corner route is actually going to fry the slot. Like, and you could just kind of freeform it on the sideline most of the time. And that's honestly like a bad level of separation for especially no inside shade. But like against spinner, like that's probably fair. Maybe it's a little worse. But
I'm also running Dolphins team because my receivers probably are a little bit worse.
No, yeah, that is another thing. And this is like directly gameplay related. If you have receivers taller or shorter than like 6'2", they run routes way worse. Like if you're using like Tyreek Hill and Waddle, like they're not going to run C routes good at all, and that's like a meta route that you can use in bunch still. Come out and post wheel drag, in route the running back, and just snap that immediately. Like that is like another man beater I'll run.
Can't you just insta throw Y too?
Yep, I was about to say that. You can throw that. It's like a quick couple of yards. Some people use short route KO now, so sometimes it'll be incomplete. And you could do sort of a similar thing, especially against spinner with verticals play. So what I'll do is, if I do run that vert play, I'll do like X on a post, and then the running back on an option or a streak, depending on if I think they're going to man him up or not. And obviously, this isn't like a primary man-beating play. But like these are like most of my man-beating routes. So what I'll do here is, this is all hot routes. I'll flat X, corner route A, angle route the running back. I'll put like Y on a flat or an out route, and then I'll put B on a corner, right? And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna motion Waddle to the right, and then you're gonna snap it, like just motion snap it. You're gonna see like B to throw on the cut. It's like wide open.
God damn, I can't get any sort of catches with Calvin.
Is that Calvin?
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's crazy.
But even against like inside shade, like you are gonna get pretty much the same level of separation. They have like inside leverage at that point. So if you were to do like a post route, it would take like another half second for it to get open, and it just makes corner routes get open. So like I'll just rotate like a bunch of the same plays pretty much every time against just man coverage out of tight slots. I'm more concerned about like DB fire in my opinion, because that is a lot harder for me to beat usually, and like tight slots out of Bengals definitely helps with that. Keep in mind, C routes in bunch, the right side, they don't work for some reason.
You want me to respot the ball then and flip?
If you want to, go ahead. I'll put the tight end on a slant, I'll C route X, I'll put RB on a corner, I'll block Y, right? Now, I'm not sure what like the X factor is on that outside guy.
It's universal.
It's universal? Okay, so this might not get open, and if it doesn't, just like throw the C route, try to get the X factor off, because this route in particular doesn't work against inside shade. Yeah, like that's not that's not really going to be open.
So when you throw like corner routes or C routes, do you highball? Do you freeform?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Highballing in this game is kind of habitual at this point. But it really depends. Like I'll freeform a lot of my plays. Like I don't recommend doing it. I'm kind of known as like one of the worst freeformers out there. But like I'll definitely, if I have to freeform, like I'll freeform my C routes in a position to make sure he gets like more yards for sure. Corner routes, it really depends. But the thing about freeform is like here, I'm gonna give you another play to call. And again, this is pretty much like the same play. Dig fork, tight end slant, C route. You could leave him on the corner honestly, and then you'll just put B on like an out route and block the running back. And this is good for dollar as well. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna motion the outside of bunch guy out. It's pretty much the same thing on a tight slots, right? And this is like mainly against spinner. I think like nickel man coverage now is really bad because you gotta back off like everyone. Okay, yeah. So he moves in. You can throw it on the cut. And the good thing with like freeform on is you can just not freeform stuff like that, and you can get better angles because of it. But I'll just come out and invert the slot on a slant, and I'll snap that before they can fully get set. Because if you come out mid audible, you can just quick throw that B button. Yeah, no short RKO. I think it's just usually like you just pass lead to the side or like kind of leading up. I think that's the best way to put it. It's not like you don't pass lead to them. While they're getting all their adjustments set, if you just audible to this and do the slant, it freezes their outside DB while they're mid backing off. And then when you snap this verticals route, you just get like way more space as well. That's something that I'll like kind of do against people. This stuff, if you're just playing mud head to head, you're gonna get through the day running. This route isn't meant to get open, but you're gonna put the solo on a post. Actually, do it out of dig fork, my bad, because the PA blocking, it makes it a lot better and it's more consistent against spinner. Wheel route the running back. You're going to slant the tight end, ID like the left guy. Normally what you would ID, you'd ID the outside corner.
But you can't because you backed up. Okay.
Yeah. So before they, like, that's like the first thing you do. Sometimes it resets. If not, you just do it the way that you're doing it right now. You have the corner out, and then you'll just motion snap B in. That running back wheel route is going to torch man deep. You can just like high rack over every time. So like that, this is like something I'll mix in if I want to go like kind of big play. Another way, like you could run it, like, and again, it's like kind of like an ugly play, but a lot of man beating routes in Madden are ugly. Put like X on a slant, like out route the tight ends, put RB on a post. And then I'll go over like two more plays in particular for man.
And then motion block him again.
Yeah, like you just motion block him. I wouldn't recommend doing this against DB Fire. You're gonna see like it kicks it up. Like the post is right there. You can
and I have the wheel, yeah.
But, yeah, like the wheel you can definitely throw if they don't have deep route KO. I'll just do dig fork, streak 80, post route the slot, drag tight end. Like this is very basic.
This is like PA read kind of.
PA read, yeah. You make it like PA read, then you motion snap him out. You do it to like the very last second, like he stutters, then you snap, right? Yeah, perfect.
Kind of like scat and like U trips.
Yeah, essentially. Now a lot of like the PA read setup is like cool for zone, like and like DB Fire in particular. DB Fire, when we get into the game, I think that's something I'll explain. But when I play zone, this is mainly what I call it. So it's just tight slots. You always come out bunch wide side because you want your tight on the short side. That's just kind of how this game is. And it depends exactly what you're playing, honestly. If you're playing like base press DB Fire, I do use X on a streak, and then I would put B on a post, and then like and this is like a 5-0 play. And again, like I said, it really does depend on there you go. So like the spacing looks really weird, but you got to think like you can just highball that post route. The corner route will get open late to the sideline.
You basically want them to like double Mabel, right?
You really do have a lot of plays against zone. Like I said, it really depends on what you're playing. Like the play setups I run against wide aren't the same plays I think about running against dollar, honestly, because dollar you can't really pick up. So this is just like a really good base play no matter what you're calling. If you think they're not going to blitz, like you can for Y. You have like the underneath zone or like the underneath check downs. You can still do the other setup that I showed, like if they start enabling or something. You can just do streak X, corner the tight end, angle route running back, flat B. Like this type of setup, like this will work against zone 2. Depending on who they're using, they have to pick and choose between like the tight end or the running back. Now I'll post 80. I'll put RB on streak, and I'll, depending on like what they're calling, I think like regardless, I'll usually block the tight end. I'm a big lover of just blocking someone when I play. So this is a play that will work. if they have their outside guy like in a base press quarter, a lot of the time you're going to be able to just throw the wheel. Or if they are starting to Mabel, obviously they kind of their user is going to have to choose between the streak and the post route. And if they hesitate for a second, I will just highball that post and like ag that for whatever I got to do. It's this setup, and then I'll just put RB on an option route sometimes, especially in DB Fire. Like they do man up the running back a lot. This is gonna force them to not do it or like play very aggressive, and then like all the other setups, like especially corner routes, are gonna start to get open. Yeah, see, and like right there. Also, another thing I'll do when I block the tight end, you can just like ID the D tackle.
Does that like help like the tight end like pick up the blitzing DB?
I'm not gonna lie, it's just something like I've been doing. You can honestly, it's like the D tackle, and I like IDing the left slot corner. And what I'll do is like tight slots, like you can't pick the blitz up, so I'll just like kind of step up a little bit and like just like rotate to like one side, because the slot corner on the right isn't normally going to come in. It's usually going to be the one on the left, especially when you do it like this. So
you could like drift to like the right and like give yourself a little bit more time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like a natural thing. It's not something I'll do every time. But like right now you see like the blitz is still going to come in. That's just something you got to accept with Valor if you're running tight slots. I'll slide right. This is something that I do with Tony G. Like I said, you run trail routes different, so it is better. Go ahead and press 2. Slide right. Drag the B button, angle out the tight end. I streak X, I corner out Y, I'll block the running back, and then I'll ID the slot corner on the left. Like I just started doing this like a couple weeks ago. And a decent amount of the time, like you are actually going to be able to pick up the slot corners, especially like when they get chips with the other angle route, which is a little better. And then like the other setup I'll do like the same pass pro. I'll streak 80, I'll slant the slot. I'll put A on a flat, and then I'll just do like post slant. Now keep in mind, this is something that is mainly dependent on who they're using. Like if they're using the right side guy, you gotta attack the user. That's why it's like identifier is really important for this. Like you're using Polymer, right? Now if you know they're gonna blitz, most of the time like the flat just makes it so like the slot corner, in my opinion, like from what I've been feeling, like I said, this is something that I've recently started doing. The flat just makes the slot corner not come in sometimes. Like you can just really step up, just take like a 2-yard loss, worst case scenario. So you'll be able to really just like post slant it if they don't have their zone drop set to like 20. Mesh spot is another good play for like DB Fire. You could just do, and again, this is like user dependent. Like I'll just like flat A or out route him, I'll flat X, I'll slant Y, and then dependent on like what you think they're gonna do, like you could leave that deep post. Sometimes I'll smart route it, sometimes I'll do like a hot route one, sometimes I'll just leave it. It's really dependent on like what they're doing. And this is just like the wheel route's gonna get open. If they like man it up, you know, like okay, I gotta call a different play. It's just a bad play. If they're just playing like pretty generic zone, this is something that you can really call against Dollar, because like the blitz will just come in, or like you'll get A gaps. But yeah, like you'll just like ag that down. Flat X, streak the tight end, and then like corner route 81. Like this is something that like a lot of people run. It's just good for zone. Forces their user, because if they like bite down on the drag, you could just like high free form the tight end, like in a certain direction. Like you could get that a lot. It's just stuff like that. It's just, again, tight slots mainly is just attacking the user.
And yeah, y'all, slightly longer video on the channel today, but I hope y'all did enjoy it. I feel like this was one of the most informative videos I could have dropped. And this is going to transfer from Madden to Madden to Madden. This is what the best people that play the game are looking for, and how they create offenses. And then by creating these offenses, they find the counter to these things on defense, and that's how the defenses are formed. And like I said, this is going to be a 2-part series. The next video, we will be going into head-to-head with Mr. Gabagol in my ear, giving me live feedback. If you want to see that, first off, comment it down below. A lot of these pro players, to get this information, I know it's late in the year, but a lot of it is you got to pay money in order to get this information. So please, guys, if you did enjoy the video, do me a big favor by checking the links in the description. All of his links are going to be down below. Link to his ebook, also a link to his Twitch as well. Make sure to hit him with follows on there as well. I would greatly appreciate that. But I hope y'all are as excited as I am for part number 2.